won't be doing that again. So buckle up, because story time. This whole process was a bit of a nightmare to begin with. So it starts in November. Way back when I ordered some fabric online because I was looking everywhere for a specific fabric that I wanted. I wanted a sparkly and sequin and beaded fabric, but I just couldn't find it anywhere. I looked in shops, I looked online, and I just couldn't find anything in the UK in the exact colour that I wanted. So I went and looked a bit further afield, and I found online on AliExpress this fabric that looked absolutely perfect. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take a chance, I'm gonna order it, and if it turns up and it's not what I wanted, well, at least I've kind of got a fabric to practice on. And if it doesn't turn up at all, well, I won't be doing that again. So anyway, it gets to like mid-November now, and I want this outfit ready for Christmas because, you know, with like red, burgundy, like that's the colour vibe I was going for. It'd be perfect for Christmas. And I'm waiting, and nothing is coming through. The fabric doesn't arrive. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have been had. So panic starts to set in, and then eventually, thank goodness, fabric turns up. And not gonna lie, when this package arrived, it looked very dodgy. It did not look like what I thought it would look like in the packaging, but we move and I open it, and you know what? I love it. Like, I'm so happy with it. Like, I'll show you it now in closer. So this is the fabric. I've got 5 meters of it, which is actually quite a lot. I don't think I'm going to use all this. And once this had arrived, I could then colour match so as I could get this crepe fabric. It's like stretchy and it's quite thick, because however lovely it is, I can't go out in just this. We need some modesty. We need a layer underneath. And I want to make a Nadine Merabi inspired jumpsuit. So I'm sure you've all seen them, but if you haven't, here they are. They are unreal, like so sparkly. They are like so like figure hugging, and they're just the perfect fit, and it's just everything I would want in a jumpsuit. However, cannot justify spending that much money on a jumpsuit when I'm pretty sure I can make it. So that's the look we're going for. Just look at these, like they're gonna be perfect for the feather cuffs. Like,
at this point, I'm highly motivated because look how sparkly that fabric is. That enthusiasm very quickly dwindled because I hate cutting out. I hate it with a passion. So I didn't really use a proper pattern to call this out. I just used a mixture of like a long sleeve top pattern and a trouser pattern, but I'd originally cut it out in tulle and then made sure it fitted me and made any little alterations that I wanted to do. So for the trouser part, I didn't have a pattern. I just used trousers that I'd already made before, obviously like 3 different pairs because I wasn't sure, because I was a bit worried about the fact that the fabric didn't have as much stretch as other trouser patterns that I've used. So this is me trying to figure it out and just pray that it's going to fit me, because I didn't really have enough fabric to do it twice. To make the original trouser pattern, I just used a wide leg basic trouser pattern that I already had, and then altered it to fit me. So as I just took some out at the knees and made it a little bit more flared. Essentially just make more of a triangle. And if you're a hoarder like me, I just collected all the beads because surely they'll come in use for something. Probably not, probably just sit in my house for the next 10 years. And then hoovering because it's quite satisfying. Normal hoovering, no. Hoovering up beads, yes. And then having a little break because cutting out just sucks the life out of me, not gonna lie. And cutting out on the floor hurts your back. But we continue to do it. So I now get all of the lining fabric and I place the original pattern pieces that I cut out on top and then cut around those so as they're basically identical. Finally, praise the Lord, I finished cutting out, but are you even making anything if your house doesn't look like this? The next morning, the sun is shining and I've got all my pattern pieces cut out. I was going to try and do a fancy drawing to show you all the pattern pieces, but I couldn't. So this is everything you will need. Comment below if you need any help, but essentially you need a top pattern and a trouser pattern that you're going to merge. I got a lot of questions on Instagram about this part of the process. So basically I'm smashing all of the beads off the seam allowance so that when I sew through it on the machine, it won't mess my machine up and it will just glide through easily in theory. But just a word of warning, make sure you wear some glasses or something because the beads fly everywhere. As you can see, because I feel like I've hoovered more in this project than I have sewn. So fast forward about 2 months because I'd had enough once I'd cut everything out, and now it's about 2 days before I actually need the outfit to go out in. So I started off by getting the lining piece and the top piece, the glittery part, and just stitching them all together on the edge because it'll just make life easier, so as I'm not sewing with 4 different pieces when I put all the pattern pieces together, if that makes sense. Basically it just stabilises everything, so it makes your life a little bit easier, but you could skip this part. I started out by sewing the trouser part together, so I thought about doing a diagram just to help you, but it's a basic trouser pattern, so there'll be other YouTube videos that will be able to show you in better detail, but essentially front and back piece, stitch on the inner leg, then the crotch seam, and then flip it inside out and do the outside leg. I've put the trousers together now, and this is like the first try on, and they're actually a really good fit so far, like on the leg. I've got like a bit of excess fabric like here, like I don't know that you can see, and then I also need to take out some of the fabric like at the back because it's quite gapey, but I don't know whether to take the fabric out or just add some dart. So to fix the front like extra fabric, I'm gonna go in here and take out a little bit here to stop the excess fabric, so I don't need much out of it. I definitely don't need any on like out on the bum seam because it's already quite tight, but if I take out of here that should stop like the extra gathering fabric. So on the back of the trousers I decided to add some darts, so this is me fumbling around trying to figure out how to do the darts basically. But you just fold a piece in and then however much you want to take out, mirror it on the other side and then stitch it in like a triangle shape. So this is the front top piece, which my camera rudely didn't record while I was sewing the darts in. So I've just moved on to stitching the shoulder seams together, so I'm actually pinning for once in my life, which doesn't really happen because I'm usually in a rush, but I'm pinning everything together now. Stitch that together and then I move on to the sleeves. So sleeves are usually quite fiddly, but because the fabric had a bit of stretch it wasn't that bad, so just make sure you line everything up and then good to go. So turn the top inside out and stitch where I'm just showing you, and that'll get your top together. So this is the second try on of the trousers and I think the fit's pretty good now. So I've just added 2 darts in the back and then I'll be adding the zip. I now need to attach the bottoms to the top half, which is going to be fun. Oh, this is always the worst bit, trying it on for the first time properly after spending your life stitching it together, but I don't think it's that bad. I think I probably could have done with an extra tiny bit there, but it'll be fine. It's coming together very slowly. So now I'm attaching the top and the bottom pieces together. By some miracle it fits, which I'm thrilled about. So now I've just got to attach the zip, which I need to just change the foot of the sewing machine and put my invisible zip foot in, so then it's easier to actually get the zip neatly. I kept getting loads of beads that were getting stuck in the sewing machine, so I had to then try and figure out how to smash the beads off whilst it was attached to the machine because I'm too lazy to take it out. Okay, the zip's in the back
and the outfit is like together. So imagine I would have 2 feather cuffs. I was originally gonna add a like V-neck with like bias binding, but I don't know what to do. I feel like it's a bit too much all one colour if I don't add the V, but I don't know, once you've done it, haven't you? So what do you think I should do? To Instagram I go.
So most of you said to add a V. I mean, it's pretty close, to be honest. So whilst I was being indecisive, I started to work on the feather cuffs. So if you don't know how to sew these, I've got another video that I posted, but they're really easy and you can just add them to any outfit. I needed to get this part done very quickly because it was the night before I needed my outfit finished. So if I was going to have feather cuffs, I needed to get them done and make sure that the glue had enough time to dry. So once I had finally made up my mind about adding a V to the jumpsuit, I measured halfway, made a small cut, and then obviously used the conventional method of a coat hanger to try and figure out a straight line. So I just cut it to where I wanted to. It was very nerve-wracking, not gonna lie, but I love it. So where I had just tucked that fabric under, I'm now cutting off the excess, so essentially 2 kind of triangle shapes, and then I mirrored it on the other side. Now add in some bias binding just to make everything look a little bit neater and get the raw edges in. I know they wouldn't fray, but it just looks better. Time for the feathers. So I needed to make sure that I had given the glue enough time to dry, so I ended up putting them on the radiator because there was that much glue on them. I didn't think they would dry in time. So this is the original jumpsuit and this is my version. Now I've actually saved myself about £300 and the fit is perfect and I am just obsessed with it. So if I ever die, just bury me in this outfit because I love it so much. Thanks for watching and keeping up with my chaotic last minute life.